at the Tampa Bay Pro Combine. Congratulations on a fantastic event. I'm happy for you. How'd it go?
Man, thank you, Alex. I think it went great, to be honest. Anytime you do an event like this in such a short period of time, you get nervous. We're just fortunate that, we had great people working with us. We had high-level coaches, guys with experience like James Posey, Bob McKinnon, Xavier Silas was just, great coaching, great players. The players came, and in an event like this, it's a round robin. Kids are playing 4 games. You just often don't know how hard they're going to compete. And I think the best thing about our tournament, was just that the kids got after it. You had 5 to 6 games that came down to overtime. You had teams that were coming back. And, our last game of the tournament, you had 2 undefeated teams that went down to overtime. So at the end of the day, I think the event was great. We're just appreciative of everybody that was involved in it.
Yeah, the quality of basketball was phenomenal. I was really impressed with that. And you would never know being here that this, was something that you guys thought of and came together in 5-6 weeks. That's incredible to me. It's very professional. You guys did an amazing job. Can you kind of talk about how this did come together and the work that went into kind of making this happen behind the scenes?
Yeah, well, this really came together just because, obviously with Corona, there was events that usually take place within the NBA that give, guys that might not be in that first round caliber, like, those second round, those Exhibit 10, those two-way guys. There's usually events to help, give them exposure. And, with it being Corona, there was none of those events going on. And so, my partner, Daryl Hepburn, he gave me a call. And, he was like, hey, man, you want to do it? And at first, I was like, oh, yeah, man, let's, just talking. Then, next thing I know, Daryl showed up with a website. And then it was just like, hey, man, we got to do it. And, fortunately, we were able to, to bring on Basketball News, and, Matt Babcock, Fran Fraschilla, this event doesn't happen without them. And we were just able to get the players. I think the main thing is, at the end of the day, it's about the players. And, this doesn't happen without our ability to get the players.
Yeah, the players were great. Fran and Matt did a great job with that. The coaches were phenomenal. I was really impressed. Do you want this to become an annual event that happens, not only an annual event, but also do you want it to become NBA certified eventually?
Yeah, it is an event that we want to do annual. Obviously, we'd like to be NBA certified, but I think, the thing about the event is at the end of the day, it's about exposure. And the great thing about the NBA is that regardless of sanctions, whether you're in Africa, whether you're in, India, the NBA is a global, and they're scouting. They're always looking. And so, even with them not necessarily being in attendance, they were very active this weekend. I talked to a lot of scouts, a lot of front office personnel that were live streaming. We partnered with Instat. Instat's providing all the analytics and all the measurements, and also BAM. We had the combine testing, so the ability for the NBA, they always want the measurables, the wingspan. They want to know a vertical jump. They want to know how athletic these guys are, and so the ability to also bring in BAM and test these guys. So I think we want to be sanctioned, but at the end of the day, we just want to continue to build a great event and have an event that goes on and having a quality event with quality basketball people.
For sure. And as you were talking to some of the kids, what was some advice that you're trying to pass on to some of these guys?
I think some of the advice, well, in particular, like for myself, I was just in a position to try to link kids. Like, there's opportunity to, like, a kid that we had here that I thought would stand out, Troy Baxter, a kid that has a lot of potential, a lot of upside, a lot of room for growth too. With the ability for him to, sit down for 30 minutes with James Posey, NBA champion, and pick his brain and, get his feedback. Like, those are the things that don't happen every day. Those are things that don't happen in your pre-draft training.
Yeah.
And so that, it's unprecedented. You can't account for that, so.
For sure. And then whenever we've been talking about it, I talked to some of the players and they were mentioning, Troy Baxter said he has workouts scheduled with the Celtics, the Nets. A number of players got workouts from this event. So, can you kind of tell me, because you've been talking with a lot of guys, a lot of the agents as well, how much exposure do these guys get, and what are you hearing as far as the number of workouts that players generated from this?
Well, in honesty, just in talking to all the teams, they're active. Teams are always working, so those guys, they don't sleep. I talked to G League general managers this weekend. I talked to directors of scouting, and I don't want to take credit for these guys getting workouts necessarily, but to put them in a platform for these teams to get a second look to possibly bring them in, that was a great opportunity, because I think with the way the NBA is right now with COVID protocols and them shortening up workouts and them being limited, back in the day, a kid that would normally go on like a 17 to 18 workout tour, they'll bring you in just as a body to see you against somebody, or they'll bring you in the second time just to see you. Now it's limited. Sometimes you can only get a kid in one time. And so, events like this are needed and critical because you get a chance to evaluate these players in situations with other players at the same level.
For sure.
It's one thing to evaluate a player on his college team, and, he plays a role for his college team. However, when he comes here, you got to play with a guy like Terry Taylor, who's, player of the year in his conference. You come here, you got to, play against another guy, of, top level capability like, a Mitch Blaylock or a Quade Green. You get a chance to see them against quality, and I think iron sharpens iron. So the ability for the teams to see that, I think, that was awesome. And to hear that guys have gotten workouts has been great. I mean, I know teams have called me and asked me about guys' second looks. I know they've called Fran, the other scouts, and anybody they know here and asked, hey, what do you think and stuff as well. So, it's awesome.
Well, happy for you, man. Congrats on a great event. You guys did a fantastic job, and hopefully we're all back here next year.
No, definitely, man. And thank you, Alex. Honestly, your media coverage has been great, man. I'm a fan of yours. Been watching you for like 10 years, man. So
this guy.
Just appreciate it, man.
Thanks, man. That means a lot. Appreciate you.
No, definitely.